Hello and welcome to the JV East Season 3 Round 8, the Season 3 finale as our drivers head across the Lausitz track for the pre-qualifying. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. Currently, Stefano just managed to keep his lead over Todd Sod heading into this finale, but it's been cut from 20 points before Baku to only 4 points, separating the two now, as the two Danube Flow drivers both have really strong chances to take this Drivers' Championship home. Celeste Lucier is holding down third in the Drivers' Championship with 72 points, and that amount of points means if Celeste Lucier were to outright win the race and both Danube Flows not score any points, Celeste Lucier can mathematically still win the championship, but it is very unlikely. Odd Koopa with 65 points is unable to get a position higher than third in the Drivers' Championship, so only these three drivers are competing for the World Drivers' Championship at the current moment. Meanwhile, at the Constructors, Danube Flow last race got themselves promoted to Challenger Virtual. They are now 51 points ahead of Compass, which means even if Compass were to take first and second and the fastest lap, they would not be able to catch Danube Flow. Scotpo Auto are still holding on to third, however, WTEC Starlight, with a great performance from both drivers last race, is now only 4 points behind them, and with us obviously superior car, we're gonna have a fight for third here. Then for fifth, we're gonna have a fight as well. Carpathian's Peak just 1 point ahead of HRT Lightning, and maybe NASA Lunar Racing can say something about that being in seventh. They're only 10 points behind HRT Lightning. And of course, a fight for eighth. Yorkshire Aerial just 2 points ahead of Brabham, who in turn are only 6 points ahead of Evolve Racing after Chevrolet's impressive race last time in Okayama. It's pre-qualifying done then, and we'll have to see. Let's take a look at the car stats real quick. Here they are. Compass and Carpathian's Peak are tied for the joint best car, with WTEC Starlight just a .1 in the index behind. Those are the top teams in terms of car performance. Then the midfield teams, we have Danube Flow, Yorkshire Aerial, Lightning Racing Team, and Scotpo Auto. 3 of them tied on 4.5, with Lightning Racing Team just .1 off from the rest. Finally, we have the backmarker competitors in Brabham, NASA Lunar Racing, and Evolve Racing, with Evolve having the worst car by just .1 under the rest of those backmarker teams. So we've got split into 3 groups here. We've got a fight for 8th, a fight for 5th, a fight for 3rd, and a fight for the Drivers' Championship. So despite Danube Flow promoting, of course, all these fights in the Constructors' Championships are gonna be very important, as we are going to have massive regulation changes in store for next season, and Constructors' Championship position will matter a lot in determining how many preseason upgrade roles each team is going to get. So every position in the Constructors counts, and the Drivers' Championship fight is quite interesting as well. Looking right now, I can't make out any particularly impressive drivers who are because drivers who are 10 positions ahead of their teammate in the Drivers' Championship give a small bonus amount of research points to the team they signed for. Currently, the closest to that, I believe, is Skip, who's 8 points or 8 positions over Fabio, but he needs to be, of course, 10 positions over for it to actually come into effect. Here we go then, 5 minutes of qualifying here at Lausitz Ring, and it's Stefano and Todd Sod here to impress, here to show us how somehow, against all odds, despite having an alright, just decent car, both of them have driven impressively and clearly have the skill to take it to the next level, as of course their team will be promoted to Challenger Virtual. The question is, will both of them be re-signed to the team? Will they sign for a different Challenger Virtual team? Will they perhaps even just stay in JV, go to different teams like we saw last season with JV West champions Rickware Racing? Odd Koopa, who had an amazing performance that season, winning the Drivers' Championship, did not manage um, to re-sign for Rickware, as he did not respond in time, so he signed here for Compass instead. And the same was true of Tifoli, who re-signed for Avionics and JV West. Speaking of next season, we do have some interesting changes happening in terms of teams. 3 new team owners are expected to join the fray, with R3, Matimar, and Emma Box all looking to bring their franchises to the virtual leagues, replacing the folding Burger Ekolowski Racing from JV West, as well as Scott Paul Auto, who are currently fighting for third, looking to fold after 3 seasons in the Journeyman virtual division. And finally, the last team folding will be WTech Starlight, alongside their sister team, their parent team in UV, which is WTech, also folding as Trixie has had to pull funding from the teams, has to sell them due to personal circumstances. Currently, it is Fast Juicer with provisional pole, as everyone has pitted now and is out on their outlaps. Is quite interesting what might happen here. And despite car performance index being uh, what many would assume to be a big tell, is not being so in Challenger Virtual or Journeyman Virtual this season, as we've seen teams with below average cars be able to fight those above average cars at every step. We've seen Scott Poyato and Dan Flo pull out just shockers and win races, and Compass, the mathematical favourites, one would say, with the best car, have kind of disappointed. They did finish second. They are finishing second in constructors. I think that happens no matter what, really. But still, it's been a bit of a disappointment. Odd Coupon now into the pits. So is Celeste Lucier, Trixie, and Uniform Pine. Stefano is now on this flying lap, but I think because of grip levels, it'll be hard for drivers to improve from that very first lap, and we might see a shocker Fast Juicer pole position here. Let's see, Stefano, what time can he get? Todd Sod looks to be catching him quickly. Stefano's into the pits, actually. You didn't even do a flying lap. Are none of those drivers doing flying laps? Odd Koopa is on an outlap. What is the strategy here? Odd Koopa does not improve. Uniform Pine, I'm not sure. Celeste Lucier does not. Trixie does not. All these drivers are, heading into the pits. And it's very weird, but Todd Sod now has the advantage over Stefano, and this will be their outlap, and the next lap will be their flying lap. And there should surely be some sort of improvement, even with the tire wear causing some grip issues. Here we go, Todd Sod, Stefano, can they improve on their qualifying time? It is currently Fast Juicer on provisional pole, the two Compasses doing a 2-3 And now the two Danube flows doing a 4-5. Then Hyperion, Vlad, Cesar, Trixie, Uniform Pine, with Lolzy just outside the top 10, and Tolly in 12, which is incredible stuff for him. Here we go, Todd Sod. Cross the line, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Does not improve, neither does his teammate Stefano. Vlad improves, no he doesn't, just barely. Hyperion, nobody is improving. This is quite a disappointing qualifying to finish off the season after we've had some incredible qualifying fights in Okayama and Jeddah in recent memory, but nobody improves. The grip is just not there, not even for NASA Lunar Racing with their rocket ship in terms of grip. So let's take a look at the qualifying results. Here are the qualifying results then, and Scott Paul Auto shock like they have most of the season with a pole position after I think it was Lolzy who took the pole position in Baku. Odd Cooper will be starting from the front row with his teammate Celeste right behind him in third. That's the Compass just ahead of the Danube Flows in fourth and fifth. Hyperion for WTEC Starlight starting from sixth. Vlad for Carpathian Peak starting from seventh. Cesar for Yorkshire Aerial starting in eighth. That's impressive stuff from him. Trixie, Hyperion's teammate, starting from ninth. And Uniform Pine, Vlad's teammate, starting from 10th. Lolzy will be starting from 11th, then Tully from 12th, Ishbel Spammer from 13th, Arcaniac 14th, Skip and Fabio. It's an 8-row lockout for the NASA Luna racing cars. Guetzli will be starting from 17th, Kukas from 18th, Mr. Throw 6 from 19th, and finally Chevrolet will be starting from last after an impressive race to get P4 and fastest lap in Okayama. That's your grid, and let's get into it for 25 laps here in Germany at the Lausitz Ring. Here we go. Oh, and we're gonna have a wet start as it is cloudy, but the track is slightly wet and everyone is starting on the inters. And Fast Juicer tries to defend, but he slips and it's Odd Cooper, Todd Sod, Celeste all in front of him and tries to regain some of those positions behind. We have Stefano fighting Hyperion and there's Cesar and Vlad, and they've detached themselves from the rest of the pack. It's Trixie in ninth, Lolzy into the points, Uniform Pine has dropped a bit behind. Odd Cooper leads the race, he's got a massive gap. Already Todd Sod, Stefano, Hyperion, Cesar, Vlad, Celeste, Fast Juicers down into 8th. What has happened? What a start already. Nobody pitting just yet. The track is still wet. We're seeing Celeste Lucier fighting for 7th here with Fast Juicer. Fast Juicer on the inside of Celeste and Vlad takes both positions, but he goes again and he slips there. And that is just awful stuff for him to make the same mistake twice in 2 laps. But he gets past Celeste once more. It's Odd Cooper still leading. Scissor, Vlad, Celeste, Lucier, Uniform Pine just in front of Fast Juicer. Trixie now overtakes Fast Juicer but goes very wide. And finally everyone is into the pits. Softs for Odd Cooper, mediums for Todd Sod, hards for Hyperion, softs for Stefano, hards for Cesar. It's mixed, it's very mixed. We'll see who can win out strategically here. Odd Cooper, of course, picks the softest compound, wants to protect his race lead, but Todd Sod on the mediums has found quite a bit of pace. Hyperion up into third on the hards, Stefano on the soft. Cesar behind him is on the hards, and you can see Celeste Lucier, after a bad start, is really catching him here and easily does the overtake in a way faster car. And there it is, Celeste Lucier into 5th. Vlad leading his teammate, leading Trixie, Fast Juicer, and Lolzy to Scott Paul Auto's close behind them. Vlad running a bit away now. Uniform Pine, Trixie, Fast Juicer, Lolzy. Is there anything happening? We've got Stefano fighting Hyperion, knocks him from behind, takes third very aggressively. Stefano into third here. Every position matters right now. It's 4 points Todd Sod has to make up to Stefano. He needs 5 points more He needs to score 5 points more to take the Drivers' Championship. Currently, Stefano is in third, so he only scores 3 points over him, which means it's only a gap of 1 point. But Stefano currently is the Drivers' Champion as Odd Koopa leads the race. Celeste Luzier in 5th, Cesar just ahead of Vlad. It looks like the Yorkshire Aerial Racing car is really struggling now. They really overperformed in the qualifying, and now all the faster cars are overtaking Uniform Pine, already close behind. And the same, could it be said for Scotland Auto? Fast Juicer is actually beating, on the same compound, on the same wear, a much faster car, and that is quite impressive stuff. And Lolzy is behind, but he is on the softs, and he's losing time to them, but Celeste Lucier now right behind Hyperion, but Hyperion has had a quicker exit onto this back straight, and Vlad is close behind as well. Celeste is feeling the effects of some tire wear. Uniform Pine finally makes the overtake on Cesar as he loses yet another position. It is heartbreak for Yorkshire Aerial, but he's looking for a counter-attack. Can he make it stick? No, he goes a bit wide there, and it just did not work out for him. Todd Sod under a second to Odd Koopa. Stefano is about a second behind both of them, but he is now 3 seconds ahead of Hyperion, which is not great news for Todd Sod. He needs to win this race, and for Stefano to finish behind Odd Koopa. Todd Sod tried to look for a little entry there on Odd Koopa, could not find it. Now, can he do it on the inside? Odd Koopa does go wide, but Todd Sod does not have the traction. Goes on the inside again. Now it's the outside of the next corner. Does not get forced into the wall. Tries on the inside. There's not any space. Uses what little boost he had, but he's still just behind Odd Koopa going into this. Oh, and he's just done it all wrong at turn 1, and Stefano nearly caught up, but now on the straight, he's got a better exit, but Odd Koopa deploys his boost, and it's soon to be a freeway fight for the win. Vlad closing down Celeste Lucier. Cesar still holding ahead of Fast Juicer, who's just ahead of Trixie, Mr. 06 in front of Lolzy now. Todd Sod is into the lead of the race as Odd Koopa and Stefano are both pitting. And it's Todd Sod leading this race, and as things stand, he is the he is the JV East Drivers Champion. Hyper in second, Odd Koopa and Stefano will exit in third and fourth. That's how much of a lead they've already built up, as Vlad is down here in fifth. Just behind him on worn out hards. His teammate Uniform Pine just behind him. It's a 5-6 for Carpathian's Peak as things stand. Cesar in 7th as Celeste Lucier has pitted but is now closing down really quickly. Fast Juicer starting to struggle in those mediums but still keeping Trixie behind. Mr. 06 very solidly in 11th now, trying to get in on that final points position. Stefano looks for a move on Odd Koopa around the outside, touches the wall, touches the tire wall, and he's still behind Odd Koopa, who's behind Hyperion. Stefano, great speed on the straight, gets past Odd Koopa, tries to get on the inside of Hyperion, he succeeds, and he's into second, and Odd Koopa into third as a 1-2 for Danube Flow, and as things stand, Todd Sod needs that race victory, and he enters the pits now. And it's Stefano into the lead of the race. Fastest lap. We're gonna have heavy rain. Todd Sod has pit for the wets. He's managed to make it just in time. Incredible stuff, and this is definitely something that could give him that edge in getting the World Drivers' Championship. Have we had a Canadian Drivers' Champion in any VLs league yet? I don't think so. And Todd Sod, no, we had Pappy. We had Pappy in Challenger Virtual last season, but Todd Sod might be our second Canadian World Drivers' Championship in the virtual leagues as he passes Hyperion and has had to pit now. He did, however, of course, pit quite early. The rain hadn't come in yet. So how much of a gap will he get over Stefano? It's less than a second. And Chevrolet Blue Flag driver There, Celeste and Vlad used this opportunity to pit for enters. It is a fight between the Danube Flow drivers for the race when Stefano gets stuck behind Chevrolet, finally passes him. Todd Sod is still leading him, but Stefano wouldn't be the first Polish World Drivers' Champion either, because we had Rito and Yel, so they're both not pioneers, but still, they are both fighting for the JV East World Drivers' Championship. Alt Kupa in third, Hyper in fourth, Celeste Lucier Vlad fighting his teammate for sixth, Cesar holding on to eighth, Fast Juicer now easily in ninth, as it looks like Trixie has fallen behind as Mr. 06 has gotten the final points position off of him. Lolzy still close behind them in 12th. It's an interesting fight there for those final points for that final points position that could develop more as it goes on. Currently, it's Uniform Pine ahead of Vlad, despite it being inter conditions and not wet conditions. It's Uniform Pine ahead of him. Regardless, Vlad touches the grass, makes a mistake, and he's still stuck behind his teammate. No petting just yet. Uniform Pine and Vlad don't, neither does Cesar. Will the track dry enough for Fast Juicer to pet? He doesn't pet either. Mr. 06, no. Trixie, no. Lolzy? Surely, yes. Lolzy is the first to pet for dry tires. And that might give him a big edge over Mr. 06 and Trixie for that final points position. Todd Sud has run away from Stefano now, and now he pets perfectly in time for dry tires. Stefano, Odd Koopa, Hyperion, Celeste, Uniform Pine, Vlad, Cesar, Fast Juicer, Mr. 06, and Trixie really struggling. Lolzy gaining times on the dry tires. We're going to have clouds soon, but no rain announcement. Todd Sod now nearly 3 seconds out of Stefano. Odd Koopa actually has caught the back of Stefano. He's on hard tires to Stefano's mediums, but he does have the better car, and he's got a lot of boost saved up. Can he make a move on Stefano? Sticks behind him, goes round the outside, doesn't manage to find that gap to go in on Stefano, goes very wide on the hairpin, still close behind Stefano, but goes again not very quickly on that final set of turns. It's Hyperion, Celeste, Vlad, and Uniform Pine fighting for 6th. Cesar still holding on to 8th, and the final 2 points positions are being taken by Scott Pull Auto, Fast Juicer, and Lolzy. Now that's the question, who is taking third in the championship? That's also worth calculating while Stefano and Odd Koopa here are fighting for second. It's, of course, WTech Starlight 4 points behind Scott Pull Auto, and as things stand, oh my god, it's actually Trixie. It's gone past Lolzy into the final points position, and Mr. 06 might be about to overtake Lolzy as well. So that's not good news for Scott Bull, who have 2 points. Well, thanks to Hyperion, WTech Starlight have about 13 points as things stand. Odd Koopa still unable to make the move on Stefano, but he's really close to it now. Can't find that gap. He's got the gap on the inside. Makes the move. Oh, breaks too much. Stefano is still ahead of him for second. Todd Sod still leading us. Still has the fastest lap of the race. Odd Koopa still relentless in his pursuit of second. And he's still not quite able to make a move stick. Cesar and Uniform Pine are quite close together now. What has happened to Uniform Pine? He's lost the back of Vlad, and now he is fighting. And Odd Koopa makes the overtake on the inside, and he's finally through into second place on slower tires. He's finally managed to make it happen. Incredible stuff. They're only 3 seconds behind Todd Sod as his softs deteriorate. But because of the early rain, the entire field is quite far away from each other. Lolzy and Mr. 06 have now really lost Trixie, and it doesn't look like there's a fight for 10th anymore, as Trixie looks to catch Fast Juicer instead. He's on hards, Fast Juicer on the mediums, and it looks like hards really do triumph over the mediums in this on this track, I'd say. But yeah, there's not really much happening here. Not much in a fight for 8th either, as Brabham and Evolve and NASA Luna uh, have all been unable to break through into the top 10. Odd Koopa is only 2 seconds behind Todd Sod, whose softs are constantly deteriorating more and more. Celeste Lucier close to Hyperion now. Nope, lost a second. In a second. That is quite something. Todd Sod is into the pits now. So is Stefano. Odd Koopa inherits the race lead. Interesting stuff. Todd Sod stayed out on the softs as long as his teammate on the mediums, and they've both pitted for softs. And they're only 2.5 seconds behind Odd Koopa. So Odd Koopa is gonna have a little bit of an issue keeping that place. Will he be able to run those hards until the last lap? I don't think so. I think he's going to have to pit soon. And I think his strategy did not work out quite as intended. Todd Sod is already caught up to him. And here he goes on the inside. It's Todd Sod through into the race lead on lap 22. Only one lap out of the race lead. Hyperion still holding down 4th. Celeste Lucier lost the back of him a bit ago and is just in 5th currently. Vlad in 6th. Uniform Pine in 7th as Cesar has also lost him. He's down in 8th. Trixie looking to catch him as Trixie is already overtaken Fast Juicer, who's holding down the final points position. Really not much happening here. Will Odd Koopa pet? Or is he staying out on those hards? If he is staying out on those hards, that is some risky business. But it doesn't really matter to him. It's not like he has a lot to win or a lot to lose. Cuckoos, in fact, forces him into the grass, and Stefano is through into second to deliver a 1-2 for Danube Flow. Yeah, more than likely, unless Hyperion gives us a little surprise here at the end. Fast Juicer overtakes Trixie. He's on fresh soft. Trixie is on dead hards. Looks like Trixie did not get the strategy call correct. Stefano with the fastest lap of 36.48. Fast Juicer in 9th, and Hyperion very close to Odd Koopa now. Under a second separates them. He's got the softs. They're just a little bit worn, just a bit scrubbed. It's all about the racecraft here. Going to have clouds, but I doubt we're going to see rain this late in the race. Vlad also close to Celeste Lucier. It's really a matter of some drivers have chosen to go on the hards, and it was the wrong choice, as the drivers on the mediums pitted earlier for softs. The drivers on the hards have decided to stay out, and there goes Vlad into 5th position. Hyperion still chasing down Odd Koopa. We're going to have light rain, and it's going to not be good news for the very worn tires of most drivers here. And we're seeing Mr. 06 pet, so is Kukus, Tully, Arcania, Gwetsley. Will we see Todd Sod pet from the lead of the race? Surely not. It's sunny anyways, so he shouldn't be petting at all. He's not petting. Here he goes, final lap on very worn out softs. In light rain conditions, Stefano was really close at the end, but Todd Sod wins the German J-Prix and takes the World Drivers' Championship. Stefano in second. Hyperion crosses the line for a podium. Amazing stuff. It's third for him. Odd Koopa, 4th. Vlado 204, will he finish 5th ahead of Celeste Lucier? It looks like it's Vlado 204 in 5th, Celeste Lucier in 6th. Uniform Pine across into 7th. Will Cesar be able to catch him? No, he's got a bad exit from the final turn. It's Uniform Pine in 7th, Cesar in 8th. It's Fast Juicer in 9th. Trixie. This is the question. Doesn't look like Lolzy can catch him quickly enough despite Trixie's really worn out wets. He will take the final points position. Lolzy across the line in 11th. Then we have the drivers who actually pitted for wet tires with Mr. 06, the only one on the wets. He's across the line in 12th. Arcaniac finishes 13th. Tully 14th. Gwetzley 15th. Fabio 16th. Ouch. Hits the wall there, or is Ishbo going to give us another little surprise? No, Fabio's on the dry tires. He finishes 16th. Ishbo 17th. Looks like Skip will cross the line at 18th. Chevy in 19th. And 20th classified as Kukas. And that was the JV East finale after the incredible races we've had. Very exciting, very interesting. It is a bit of a boring, straight to the point finale here. WTech Starlight win the battle for third in the Constructors. Not that it matters to Scottpool, who are disbanding at the end of the season. And Danuplo take a 1-2 after having already won the Constructors. That was JVE Season 3, everybody. See you next season for more action, for more chaos, for more crazy races. See ya then.